प्रणाम।
प्रणाम प्रणाम प्रभु प्रणाम।
जी, तो सब कुशल मंगल, बढ़िया।
जी सब कुशल मंगल। तो बताइए, हिंदी में प्रारंभ करें कि अंग्रेजी में?
अंग्रेजी में प्रारंभ करते हैं। हमको लगता है ज्यादातर आपके दर्शक और हमारे दर्शक भी अंग्रेजी भाषा के साथ ज्यादा कंफर्टेबल हैं, इसलिए
जी जी
अंग्रेजी में ही
जी।
शुरू करते
ओके, so namaskar everybody. Today we are doing a Instagram live talk, uh, and the title is Corona Students and Depression. It's like a very important topic to discuss nowadays, and many of our like friends were like asking questions about this corona and all situation, and what impact is giving on the students. To our dear friend Pratik, can you tell a little bit about yourself to the viewers?
हैं। ओके, so pranam everybody. My name is Pratik. I am a computer science graduate, currently working as a software engineer in an MNC. I was born in Gwalior and brought up in Braj in Agra, and I have spent considerable time of my life on the near the bank of River Ganges also, when because my nanny stays there. So yes, that's a little brief about myself.
Yeah.
I think it's good to move on.
Yes, thank you so much. So like as the title says, corona. So
Yeah,
let's start with corona first. um,
yeah, sure.
I've been in contact with you for many years, and recently I came to know that you are studying like Jyotish Shastra. So
Yeah,
can you give,
I'm in very
yeah?
stage of it. Right? Yeah,
So can you give a little bit insight from Jyotish Shastra perspective about this corona situation?
yeah, sure. So if you see, people were very optimistic about the fact that Corona will end in October, November, December. Actually, when see in the system that calculates the time in the basic astrology, we have this system of Samvatsar or the Hindu lunar calendar, right?
Mhm.
So in this we have 60 Samvatsar names, and they repeat. And as and when these Samvatsars come, so they have their own impact. This Samvatsar called the Pramadi Samvatsar, which is ruled by Saturn, and the minister for this Samvatsar is Mars. So there was a strong indication that there can be an outbreak of an epidemic during this time, and that epidemic would be a viral epidemic. Even we have so much clarity that we can have the viral epidemic. It was not written which epidemic; it was clearly mentioned the viral epidemic. But
Mhm.
I want to say to people, despite of everything, we are not, as per the astrological advanced studies, we are not going to get much relief from coronavirus till this samvatsar ends in March 2021.
Mhm.
Moreover, there are also high chances that another disease or epidemic breaks out during November or at the end of November. So,
Wow.
what I would say is people should not take it now for granted. They should be more cautious as November is approaching. So, we cannot expect much, relief till the time or till the time this samvatsar changes. Although, people were saying that, some astrologers were of the view that after the solar eclipse that happened in July, uh, some relief would be there. And yes, relief was there, but they said to some extent. Nobody was of confident that, we will get rid of it. I also said that there would be some relief, but I never said that they with the cure of corona. So people should understand this that as per astrology, there is no scope of getting rid of corona till March 2021 when this samvatsar will change. In March 2021, in the next samvatsar, we will see relief, and we will also see that markets and the business will come back to track. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And this, like this, another question. As we see, the additional month is going on. We call this Adhik Mas, Mal Mas, or Purushottam Mas. Yeah, Purushottam Mas. So, is there a connection with this Purushottam Mas time period, Corona, and all the situation according to Jyotish Shastra?
See, see, the solar calendar and the lunar calendar has a difference of certain days,
Mm-hmm.
right? So as in the solar calendar, 1/4 of a day gets added every 4 years to make another day in February 29th, right?
Yep.
So this difference of the days in the solar and the lunar calendar adds up in every 4th year, and which is known as the Adhik Mas or the Purushottam Mas,
Okay.
right? So if you can say that there is no very much direct connection about this, that this Purushottam Mas, so Corona will go away. No, it is not there, because the planetary combinations are not suggesting, they are not very promising about the end of Corona.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say is there is Purushottam Mas, so people should engage more and more in spiritual activities. Okay, spiritual things, should abstain for this month, abstain from any illicit things. Yeah.
Okay. And this people say this Corona started from this excessive meat eating and killing of animals. So according to Jyotish Shastra, as you say before, like this, um, the time period of this and the arrangement of time and the constellation is like this, that whenever this like so much of sins going on, then only it occurs after so long time. So what you can comment on that?
See, in the Bhagavad Gita,
Mm-hmm.
Sri Krishna says, "I am death, the destroyer of three worlds."
True.
Isn't it? So if you will see that, see, planetary combinations and everything, according to Jyotish, they are true to a very extent. But we should also believe that if we are killing one animal for our taste. So if you will go in the Shanti Parva of Mahabharata, so in this they have given the definition of meat. So they say mam sah vakshyati sa vakshyati idam mata. That animal that is slaughtered for meat, that animal's soul, the jeev says, you are eating me, now when you will die, I will eat you.
No.
Right? So if you will go in by Srimad Bhagavatam, so where they mention the types of hell, there is a special hell for these people.
Exactly.
Right? You might have studied that. So point is, this is also collective effort. Right? People, God can also come in the form of this pandemic, epidemic. I'm not saying that this corona pandemic is an act of God, and so that people don't blame me afterwards. But yes, if you will do widespread killing of animals, widespread killing of nature, then nature has its own ways to settle down, right? But as far as this is concerned, Corona has taught people what we had been teaching people from ages, the basic hygiene principles that we followed in Sanatan Dharma from years, right? It was never our culture to shake hands. It was never our culture to go without washing hands. But due to Western influence, these things came. Now everything is back on track, right? So I think this is a silver lining in the clouds.
True. So we will come to more Corona talks later. Let's move to student part now.
Yeah.
So about students, I had few questions. We see there are students who do a transit from school to university. So this the transition time where they have to decide which college to go, or let's say even the stream decision time, like science, commerce, arts. So it's like a very anxious time for them, like a very overwhelming. Although now the new education policies have done some work over it, but I don't think it will be implemented anytime soon. So what you can comment about this, the school versus college, the pressure they have to, adapt themselves to, like, okay, now it's a new life, because their parents, teachers say, oh, just you finish 12th, rest, it's like everything is good. But when a student comes to university, it's like just finish university, then it's good. And then we start working, and then it's like it just keeps going on. So this transition time, like school and university, can you comment on that? How to deal with that?
So students must understand that schools and colleges both are different kinds of institutions, right?
Mhm.
School is the basic foundation.
Exactly.
If you don't have your foundation strong, you cannot construct a building.
Never.
But if there's only foundation, there is no use of that foundation, right? So foundation is laid in 1 or 2 days, right? You bring a concrete mixture, you lay the foundation. But to construct the entire building, it takes a little time. But if the student leaves in the middle that this is taking so much of time, this is taking so much of effort, then he won't be able to enjoy the building. So when this university transition happens, first of all, I would say that students should first come out of this all the dilemmas and distractions that are surrounding them. At least for the time they are studying. Now people will say, we play only we play PUBG, or only we are having a Tinder account, or only we use WhatsApp. I have seen students, in our country in Kota, people don't use even smartphones. The students that go there for cracking IIT and NEET, they use Nokia phones. So it is, these people are very much alive. They don't die there. So it is very much possible to keep distractions away, right?
Exactly.
Because in our text we have this slok that in the first part of your life you never cared for education. In the
Mhm.
second part of your life you never cared for wealth. In the third part of your life you never cared for attainment of the supreme. So what you will do in the fourth part of your life?
Exactly.
So a student should always be prepared for adversities. Adversities makes a student. For example, if I mine out a diamond, right? A diamond is not in the perfect shape that we see in that, that a solitaire you give to your girlfriend. It's like, oh my god, it's so good. It is not like that. It has to be polished, right? It has to be grinded. Till the time a diamond is not subjected to hard grinding, it will not adorn the crowns of the king, no matter however expensive it is, no matter how big it is. So this transition time is a kind of polishing, right? The school has converted that carbon into a diamond. You have mined out a diamond. Now the colleges are for just grinding, because people who are now forsaking this school education, they suffer. I've seen people suffering a lot in the college time, because nowadays what this, thanks to these coaching institutes, they have taken the attitude that, right, school is nothing. You just have to pass IIT. But what about those majority of students who would not make to IIT because seats are limited, right?
Exactly.
We don't have an infinite amount of seats to accommodate everyone. And you also see that now, thanks to these marketing apps and all these Byju's and all, I'm not blaming anyone, but just for example, what they're suggesting is that there is no need for an institution called school.
Wow.
But the point is, if the creator of these apps and websites had never been to school, they won't have created them. So students should see that this student life is all about this hardships, right? The more hardship you bear, the more you will shine out, right? We have this slok that sada karoti vidyarthi sahanam sukha dukkha sukam bhavati va dukkam vidya vyasam karoti va.
Wow.
Every time the student will bear happiness and sorrows, but whatever happens, he should not leave studying.
Hmm. Like
Yeah.
when you say all this, I remember the first verse we always learn in our school, like "Kak chesta bakodhyano." Like
John and
student life
Izzat
is like
Taivicha,
full of qualities. You develop so many qualities when you are a student.
5 qualities. चेष्टा वगोध्यानम श्वान निद्रा तथैव अल्पहारी गृहत्यागी विद्यार्थिन पंचलक्षण.
Ati sundar.
But nowadays priorities have changed, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Modern world, modern priorities. We see here,
Yeah.
one of our friends joined. We have Pranjal Saxena joined here with us. He's saying, "Or bhai."
Yeah.
Okay,
So
next question I will go
yeah,
with again with student and schooling. We see the modern world
yeah,
has changed so much, and we
yeah.
yes we learn so many things. So can you like put some light on what's the difference between the modern schooling system and the old schooling system which was present in India before Britishers or like around that time?
See, if I talk of the education policy in India as such, the current education policy, it has been talked of at multiple times. So not dwelling into it, but just major difference that I see is, nowadays education is only focused on money making. We are not concerned with the overall development. We just want to push someone so that he can make money. And it's true that people are making more money than they used to 30 or 40 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
But the depression rates have also risen. The suicide rates have also risen. I was reading the other day that, one student committed suicide because he was having problem with online classes.
Oh.
At this very young age, onset of life, when we are having suicide, that's a clear indication that the current education system, not only in India, the worldwide education system, they are not focusing on the personal and the spiritual development. Because, see, we earn money for a life, okay? Our life is not for earning money. Right? Even when we were child, we were not earning money, but we were happy, no?
Always.
So, point is, if we will keep focusing on these things, I have to earn money, I have to do this, I have to do that. So, we must take out, if the schools are not giving you time, then you must take out time yourself. That is the point. You have to understand that, everything can be taken care of, but this life cannot be taken care of. If it is spoiled, if you do any step that harms it. Like Chanakya said, Punarvittam Punarchitmittam Punarbharya Punarmahi Etam Sarvam Swanavate Na Shariram Punapun. Wealth can be acquired, kingdoms can be acquired, even their girlfriends and wives can be acquired if they die or they leave you. But everything can be done again and again, but this body you will not get again. So we must take care of the spiritual development and the personal development of ourselves. Now, thanks to the internet and the onset of so-called marketing gurus and all the skill gurus, they are just selling you their product in the name of personal skill building, right?
Exactly.
I would suggest that, if you can keep out 10 to 20 minutes per day, even for this, your meditation and your spiritual growth, then you will see many changes in your life. So I believe that in the Indian education system that was initially there, they were focusing on the worldly this education also and the personal and spiritual education also. Now that spiritual education has gone and this is rising. So that is why people are depressed. That is why people are become numb. Yeah.
Very, very well explained. So I have like another question. Like, let's move forward to depression part.
Yeah. So, students must understand that, IIT is not their identity, or for that sake, any other institute is not their identity. Even if they die, even if they commit suicide, then the institute will still be there. Right? Point is, people are just going with the flow. Most of the people are just going with the flow. They are not introspecting to get their skill sets. If I am not good at maths, I am not good at maths. As simple as that. It is not that if my 10 friends are good at maths, then I also have to be good at maths.
True.
Everyone's face is different, and so their mind is. Now what happens is, now we have a lot of money. Education has turned into an industry. Now what they will tell you is, come to us, we will convert you. We will change your mind. Right? So now you cannot do these things, on naturally. So you will put pressure. Now they mind wash the students to such an extent that they think that life is for IIT or life is for any other institute over there. Life will still be there. There are many people who never went to IIT. who never went to IIM, who never went to the top 200 universities, still they have done very good in life because they had a firm belief on themselves. If you will lose your belief, so that that friend is going to for 4 tuitions, I will also go for 4 tuitions. To these classes, I will also do. So I can do this, I can do that, and be on it. Nowadays, don't go, he's a YouTuber. Oh, he got successful. I will also get successful. It will never work.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you follow the same success path which a person has taken, then I have not seen anyone getting success. Even if you if you take a IES study schedule from an IES topper, you study the same way. It is not guaranteed that you will clear it. And I have not seen anyone getting cleared in IES or something. Just because their mind is different. Everyone's characteristics are different. So students should work on in an engineering as well. Students should work on their personal traits as well. Now, what students do is when they face a problem, they will run away. They will say, I will switch off my mobile. I will switch off everything. I will sit quietly in my room. Thus, running away from problems creates, because all the thoughts are here. All your expectation, your all trap is here only, not in the mobile phone. It is neither on the internet. So your mind, you are taking with yourself to the room. So till when you will run away? So I would say, people should spend some time for their spiritual growth so that they can have a clarity of thought. Now people will say, what does meditation do? What does spiritual growth do? What is the point? The point is, you will develop discretion, and discretion will tell you what to do, what not to do. Arjun in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was just lacking one thing, discretion, to fight or not to fight. Right? He was not lacking skill set, he was not lacking the abilities, he was just lacking the discretion. That even if he doesn't fight, the war will happen. Right? Even if you fail at exam, life will still go on. There is no solution to life just by committing suicide or running away. And secondly, you have not produced this body, right? We are not self-manifested yogis, right? That we came just out from water, right?
Exactly.
So you should think at the time your parents are there, that this body is their property. You should think like this. So it becomes essential that you keep care of this body not as your property but as someone other's property. So I would say that students should spend time for introspection rather than running here and there. Don't come into the trap of these so-called influencers and social media. They are just market selling you products, and they will not care about if you die tomorrow. Yeah.
Very well said. There's like another question which comes related to this, as you said, like a student should not do this and that. We see when students go to universities, they are mostly majority of them are away from their home, so there is no supervision of their parents or elders on them. And we take our personal example that like when we went to university, the first semester, we see all like very nice and good. By the time we came to second year, we see all friends who were like, oh bro, I won't do this, I won't do that, oh, this is very bad. We see second year, they are all outside drinking, smoking, or doing all kind of nonsense. So how this transition come in them, like just because it's no supervision, or it's because of association, or how can you comment on that?
See, point is, now we are exposed to media to an unprecedented extent on our phone, on YouTube, on the broadcasting channels, right? Now, thanks to this business world, they have made us think that, alcohol, illicit physical relationships, smoking weed, and all this is very cool, and this is a part of college life, right? If you will see
Mhm.
if you will see any of the college series that is present on OTTs, what they will show is students having a girlfriend or a boyfriend, they are smoking weed. Why? Because if you see that, if I talk about India only, India has the largest population of youth. So it is the biggest market for these companies, right? So what happens is students don't know about themselves. No, they don't know about their self worth. So what they
Mhm.
think is to find acceptance in the society, to find acceptance in the group. What they will do is, see, I smoke a cigarette, I am so cool. See, I have 5 girlfriends, I am so cool. You are not a cool. You are just relying on the acceptance of others, which will change drastically from year to year, right? The same students that were smoking weed in the second year, when they didn't get placement in the final year, nobody was asking for them, right? These are people, right? People's priorities change. So you have to keep
Exactly.
yourself aware that you know what you are, what you should do. And I would suggest is what I would suggest is that till the time you are studying, right? Till the time you are in a college, people should abstain from drinking and maintain proper celibacy. These
Exactly.
are very essential. You have rest of your life for all of these things. You can do these things, right? Although I don't encourage drinking, but I am saying you can, if you see in your house also you were not drinking, right? It was not like you were surviving without drinking. And you talked about company. Yes, company plays a very important role.
Mhm.
The first drink and the first cigarette is not never purchased by the person himself. There would always be another person who will say that, "Bhai, take one bag or take one glass,"
Yeah,
right?
always
So
there's
this
one
happens.
element in the group.
Yeah. So this equation works as social media and all plus some bad company equals to a destroyed student.
Mhm.
Simply. And thanks to all the pornographic material that is available on the internet in huge quantities, right? So they frustrate people because it is that is why their viewership is increasing, right?
Mhm.
So they believe that oh, that's so cool that college. This happens in college. There is like the status quo of colleges. If you are not having this girlfriend, if you are not drinking, that you are not in college. But that is not the fact, right? If you will see the great people whom we admire now, I'm not talking about everybody, but most of them. They were very good students. Very good students. You cannot substitute your education for anything.
Mhm.
You must ask yourself that if I'm doing this, will this help me in my education? Will this help me to evolve? The whole purpose of education is evolution of a human being. If your education is pulling you down, then what is the use of this education? There's no use of this education if you are coming out of it as a depressed person full of vices, a drained person, right?
Mhm.
Students should have a sparkle in their eyes and a glow on their face. Like if you see in Vrindavan, the people studying Gurukuls, they are also studying. They are studying highly complicated Sanskrit texts, and
Mhm.
see the glow in their eyes and the smile on their face. Why? Because they are abstaining from these things, the four regulative principles, as they say in the language of Scrum, right? So people, if they observe them, they won't get defeated. I'm rest assured of this. If they follow the four regulative principles, they would be safeguarded from most of the things that will trap them, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you so much. It's like very detailed and very nice answer, like covering all the topics, what happens when you come to university life and what process you go through and so many problems. You can pick good one or bad one and just go on with your university life. Next question would be like this depression part.
Yeah.
When a student come, there's like as we both are from very strong spiritual background, and we are doing well with our material life also in our work and studies. So like how you can relate this the spiritual aspects for our student life or our material life, doesn't matter where student or like work area. So how we can apply this spiritual aspects in our work area or student life?
See, first of all, I am not from a very strong spiritual background. Okay, I'm just a common thing. So, point is, people confuse the fact that if you are spiritual or you are into bhakti, then your work life will suffer. No,
Mm-hmm.
people are like, if you see the common notion of people that if you are spiritual, if you are doing this, you're doing that, or you won't be successful. But I feel, as per my little experience that I have, these things help you a lot in your worldly things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Point is that even if in our see in the Bhagavatam we read of Raja Ambrish, right? Raja Ambrish was the ruler of the entire globe, right? And he was highly spiritual as well. You read of King Dashrath, right?
Yeah,
King
he also
Dashrath
ruled.
was also Samrat, but he was also highly devoted to the religious affairs. So the point is, uh, as we say in the Bhagavad Gita, Mavaya Vansho Jiva Loke Sarvabhuta Sanatana, even being a form of God, even being a part of God, and God manifesting Himself as the world, there are still people that are depressed. There are people who are crying. There's a lot of pain in the society. You know why? Just because people are listening only to their minds.
Hmm.
People are just doing what they feel like doing. So when you will come out to, you will practice spirituality, you will practice bhakti. I'm not saying that, bhakti should be like, your studies are suffering and then you are doing bhakti. Because if you see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, Mam smaracha yuddham kuru. You have to fight. You cannot just run away because of devotion to me. You have to fight. But Mam smara, remembering me. So, people attain clarity of thought. I like told you earlier, all these spiritual practices, what they do in the first half is they will increase your discretion. By discretion, you will be able to guess what is right and what is wrong. Most of the problems in the worldly sphere, in the corporate sphere, or in the studying sphere, is just because of the fact that we are not able to decide what is right, what is wrong. We are not able to make out what is important for us. See, if I know, for example, if I talk on the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, what I'll say, I'll give you an example. For example, we have a district magistrate in every district, right?
Exactly.
So when his driver comes, or anyone from his house comes, you know, he won't require any permit, right, to go anywhere in
No.
any government office, right? And if you will say that, sit on the stool or sit on the stairs, what he will say? Hey, don't you know I came from the district magistrate office, right? So this ego, little ego of association to someone saves you from this mistreatment, right? So district magistrate is the owner of in charge of one district, a very small district, right? But God is in charge, is the creator of everything.
Exactly.
So if we are in this ego, little ego inside us that we are God's servant, brother, sister, anything that we are, according to what our mind said and what our Guru Parampara says, right? So if you will have this in your mind, then nobody can mistreat you in the world. Mistreat you in the sense you will not fall.
Mm-hmm.
Our Indian system of administration and life has always been that the people who were at the pinnacle of material world were also in greater heights in the spiritual world.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Take any example. Take any example from history to the present also. Mahatma Gandhi. whom everybody regards as the messenger of peace and all, he also had a very strong spiritual sense, right? People recognize him for that. Even if we say, for example, in our Vrindavan there is Radha Vallabh Sampradaya, and very famous bhakt of it has been Nagari Das. He was the king in Rajasthan. Nagari Das. There are very many pads of Nagari Das. So, you see, now what will happen is people are losing their spiritual side. They are not getting to the Shastras. And till the time they won't get to Shastras, they will keep falling. Right? For example, I'll give you one example. To make it more interactive. Is shooting a person a crime?
Sure.
Is shooting a person a crime? I'm asking you.
Definitely.
But if I'm in army's uniform, if I'm in the uniform of army, then is shooting someone a crime?
That's a duty.
That's a duty, right? But if even I am an army official and I change my dress to civil dress and then shoot someone, I will be jailed.
Exactly.
Right? So we should become aware, right? If we were talking just that people are indulging into this alcohol, illicit relationships and all, we should understand this is a student's dress. We cannot do anything with this. When we will come in the householder's dress, we can do whatever we feel like. So now, for example, you know how to program, right? When you were studying, somebody told you that you should not do 1 divided by 0, otherwise it will give you errors. Right? And now when you know what gives you error and how to do it, you can also debug the code that is having errors, right? But if you don't know, nobody told you, you will keep repeating the same mistake. This is what the Shastra and the scripture do for us. They will tell you how to not fall. You listen to them, you will keep walking. You don't listen to them, this illusion will come, slap you, make you fall down again. You will again get up, again slap you. So that is the point. So people should get into, if they will know what, they will even have a sense of what they are. I believe they will not indulge into even 10% of the vices they are in. Just because people are identifying themselves with all the opinions around them, they are into this pitiable state. Yeah.
It's like very, very detailed answer for this. The next question comes when we think about all this depression and student life, and like you explained very nicely about spiritual aspects for student and work area. So how we can, like for especially students, like how students can practice spiritual life, like the minimal spiritual life he can practice without like disturbing his focus in his career goals, his academics, and whatever extra activities he's doing or she's doing.
Sorry for the interruption. Yeah. So point is, students, I would request each and every student to first have basic sense of celibacy. I request every student and people whom I meet in the student life, even if you cannot practice anything, please practice celibacy and abstain from drinking. These are the basic two principles that they should follow. Thirdly, if they cannot do anything, they said that we don't have time or we don't have space or we don't have anything to do because we are living in a PG or hostel. You can, in the early morning when you wake up, you can remember God, right? You can just remember Him, right? Remember the God you like. Remember your parents. Remember your teachers. And most importantly, if you will have the Brahma Bhav or the feeling or the importance that this studying is my God. These teachers are my God teaching me in different subjects, right? To equip me for life. I feel they don't need to do any other thing. for this spiritual growth, right? Because we say na Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. Now we have not mentioned which Guru. Is it the spiritual Guru or the Guru that teaches us in schools and universities? So both Gurus are equally respectful. So I believe that even if you cannot do anything, just have this feeling of gratitude and respect towards your studies and towards your teachers, and please abstain from alcohol and maintain proper celibacy till the time you do your basic degree. Masters, PhD, that is another subject, but till the time you are just equipped enough to be employable, please abstain from these things. And if you will follow so, even if you are a very low performing student, you will notice that your marks will improve. Yeah.
It's very nice, like abstain, like maintain celibacy and abstain from liquor. And the next question comes like, okay, when we follow these like minimal rules, regulation for our spiritual life in modern society, in student and work area, what benefits an individual will observe in their life or their nature or character or surrounding?
First of all, I would say that, if people start maintaining the basic tenets of celibacy, first of the thing they will notice is that their body will be full of energy. Mm-hmm. Secondly, their mind will work, because this brahmacharya is the food of mind. If I go in the scientific aspect, people can say, what this will do, there is no scientific aspect to it. Mm-hmm. According to scientific aspect, if a person breaks his celibacy, his entire nervous system is affected. Mm-hmm. He might be thinking that, it is just to a certain part, but entire nervous system is affected. So what can you expect of a student then? Secondly, if people are drinking, it will kill their discretion like anything. What cyanide does to humans is what alcohol does to discretion.
Exactly.
So if they will practice, I don't say for long, I say practice for 15 days, practice for 1 month. Then also you will see the impact that you are much more happier, you are much more viable, your concentration will improve. People are now turning to no fap challenges and all. Why? Because they are noticing these changes. And secondly, you will stop feeling guilty. See, why we are depressed, why we are feeling guilty, why we are in stress is that deep down the corner we know that we are doing things we are not supposed to do. Mm-hmm. If I know that what I am supposed to do, I am doing it, I will be happy. Right? At the end of the day, if you are working for 12 hours, you are sad and depressed, then what is the need of working?
True.
Yeah.
Then the next one comes after, like, it's a very progressive question coming up, like after all the realizations and observations coming up. Is when this
tell me.
So our dear friend Rakshans asked a question, भाई किस बारे में बात चल रही है ये?
So he will come to know now when we will post it on IGTV. He will come to know. He can see the full video.
Will come to know nicely. And also to whomsoever is watching, if somebody has question, they can type, and Pratik ji will answer them.
Yeah.
And the next question comes is like when we follow all those spiritual like rules, regulations, and make our life better, and then we see the changes. So how this helps us with dealing with depression, like how this spiritual qualities or rules, regulation will help us in dealing with depression in students?
See, point is, imagine that we are a society of empty glasses, right? Mm-hmm. Each glass going and banging to other glass so that he can be filled. But the other glass is also empty. How will he fill? A person who doesn't know about himself or doesn't experience his fulfillment inside himself,
Mm-hmm.
how will he fulfill others' life? Right? Even if you cannot quench others' thirst when you are thirsty. Right? So depression comes to those people who are feeling this sense of unfulfillment. Then they are seeking external methods.
Mm-hmm.
Like they go to intoxications, they will go to holidays, they will shopping. But till then, when can you pursue them? As I say that the world doesn't live with you. This mind lives with you, and in this mind, the world live with you. Every
Very well.
opinion, everything you see here, it is here only. That ad came and it has gone, but it is here. So this spiritual path, I'm not saying very great path or something. It will help you to attain the sense of fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot everything people will realize that should realize that you cannot change the world. But if I change myself for better, I will give society a better citizen. I will give a parents a better son. I will give my partner a better partner. I will give my friends a better friend. So instead of changing 100 crore people or 10 crore people, if I change myself, then even with one change I can solve 10 problems.
Mm-hmm.
And how will I change myself? I will change myself by introspection. Spiritual practice is not just confined to meditation and reading books. It is all about introspection.
Yeah.
It is all about realizing that the fulfillment that you seek outside is inside. The only answer outside is inside.
It's very, very deep to understand, and it's like
Yeah.
has so many hidden meanings in this.
See, point is that this fulfillment, this sense of fulfillment, is like giving a dumb person, a person who cannot speak mango. So he will ask, "Is it good?" So his body will He cannot tell you, right?
Mm.
So even if you are devoting 10 minutes a day for meditation or any spiritual practice you like, but one thing I would say that people should take care. So people should take care is people should not get egoistic about this. I meditate for 2 hours. I meditate for 6 hours. We see many people like this, right? Arey, I do 64 rounds. What are you saying? I keep I keep fast. I don't take even water during fast. So these things will destroy you because wherever ego comes, it is your own creation. False ego will lead you down. So if you give time to yourself, you understand yourself, what you need, what your priorities are, then you will be safe from the external noises that are troubling you. So in this way, it will prevent depression. It will prevent anxiety. Anxiety is anxiety is when we try to fit in others' definition of ourselves. I know who I am. I know what I will be. So what is others? What is the need of others' definition? Yeah.
Did you ask?
What?
Did you ask me question?
No, no, no.
Oh, just
I was just
like
giving.
concluding. Okay. So we are almost coming to end of our talk.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
we have discussed the corona situation, the student life, and the problems related to it, and how like depression occurs with that, and then how we can deal with it, and then this there we see like in university and everywhere they're like people who are very like they detest people who are religious or spiritual in nature. They're like, oh, you won't do anything in your life, or it's like such a time waste. They say no God, no, like a kind of atheist people. But they are also doing good, like they are good in studies, they are working, and they don't seem to have some problem. So how like a person who is almost going into spiritual life, like while doing studies, so how he can relate, like what is the use, like somebody not spiritual is still okay, and somebody who's spiritual, like okay.
Yeah, so I'll tell you one thing.
Mhm.
For example, I have 5,000 rupees in my account. Okay,
Mhm.
and I am having a loan of 10 lakh rupees. Okay, you are having 500 rupees in your account, but you have no
Mhm.
loan. Who is in a better position?
The guy who has the original money with him, 500 rupees.
No loan, right?
No,
So
no loans.
what happens is you will see that people are doing so much of things and still they are being happy. So what is being done is that that their savings account is getting depleted and the loan is increasing.
Oh,
This 10
very
lakh
good
will become
example.
15 lakh, then become 20 lakh, and then when this 50,000 rupees it is getting depleted. When this will get depleted, that then you will see that a person when he has to pay the loan, na how loan recovery agents are,
Mm-hmm.
right? So everyone has to pay for them, right? Everyone has to pay for these deeds. It is just like your loan is getting cancelled. If you are feeling hardship, that person is profiting. Be assured that that person will have to. We have to be accountable for each and every action.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we should take responsibilities of our life. Even we are talking today, that is a result of some action we both have done in past, right? It might be it is good for me and bad for you, bad karma for you and good karma for me that we are talking. So that is the point. So we must not. I'm what I'm trying to make out is everyone has to pay for their deeds, and we should not compare ourselves with others. Their account is different, our account is different.
Mm-hmm.
Even if my account, if in my bank Vijay Mallya has a bank account, so what? My money is secured, no?
Here we have one question from our dear friend Rakshans. He said, depression due to jobs. Shed some light over it.
Depression due to jobs. Okay. So as Akshan said, you know, you took a job just because you wanted to have a job due to social stigmas and friends and peer pressure, right? You never thought that, is it matching my skill or is it the work that I want to do? You just took the job. Now all the things that you had in your mind are not working it out. So you are feeling depression. And not only Lakshans, majority of the people working in the IT sector are doing so. But they are not able to leave it. Why? Because they are getting a handsome salary. That is the point. Even if they are doing nothing, doing control C, control V, they are getting a good salary. But that was never an idea what they did, what they thought that they would do. It might not match their skill set. So this causes friction and depression. So the best thing for any job you are doing, like if you are in IT sector, even if you are in the manufacturing sector, or even the chance even becoming the prime minister, although I doubt that, but okay. So the point is either do what you love or love what you do. Do what you love, but if you are doing something that you cannot change, still you don't love it, you have to love it. There is no other way around. Even if you are a lion, deer won't enter your mouth automatically. You have to go out and hunt. See, that chance is very delighted by the thought that he would be a PM. Yes.
And then other question related to this comes about again he is asking how to love our job.
You don't have to love. Love is the basic characteristic of human beings. Love is the basic characteristic of the jiva. The soul is an embodiment of love. You don't have to do it. It happens spontaneously. You don't have to love your mother. You love your mother, right? You don't have to love your father. You love your father, right? You don't have to love your siblings. You love them. So love happens spontaneously, and unconditionally. Don't get into a hurry of dating someone.
Then how we can like this depression, like is there any relation between Jyotish Shastra explanation about depression in humans, or
Yeah.
it just comes just because of circumstances or situation or surrounding?
See, point is that if you see in the where if we have that Purush Sukta, right? Even if you see, because you also know the Sanskrit Vedic this pujan paddhati. So in this, when we light a lamp, we say a mantra: Chandrama manaso jata chakshara suryo ajayata. Chandrama manaso jata. The moon is the reason, is the main causative factor for the mind. People suffering from depression will also have either a weak moon or a moon that is being affected by harsh planets like Saturn, Rahu or Ketu. So these people easily come into depression. You can analyze any chart. A person into depression will have either a weak moon or a moon that is in the negative influence of some planet. So that is the astrological connection behind the depression, right? And secondly, the depression that arises out of low self-esteem. Some people are due to turbulence of mind. Some people have low self-esteem. Their sun would be weak. Their sun would be weak or placed in a negative house, or might be in conjunction with a negative planet. Like, for example, if sun is in conjunction with Rahu or Ketu, it will form an eclipse-like circumstance. It will form the Grahan Yoga. So sun will get harmful effects. But sun is the causative factor for confidence, self.
Yeah.
So harmful self effects on self will lead to depression, right? Low self-esteem, anxiety. These people also suffer then from the diseases of eyes. Eye diseases. I am not saying that weak eyes, because even I have spectacles. Yeah.
So there's like always connection towards all the situation going on with the Jyotish Shastra.
What our rishis have done after years and years of research, the modern science cannot even reach to an iota of it. It is just for us to believe and take advantage of it. Nobody in the present scenario can have the in-depth knowledge of human life, human psychology and science that we have in India. It is just that we avoid aping the West and just be focused on what we have. A person who is just peeking into neighbor's house is never happy. Right? We should look in our house first. And that is the problem. We see that, this person bought a bike, I should also buy a new bike. Why you need a new bike? Do you really need that? Why are you getting into others' definition? Be in your definition. Even if you are not very much into any devotion, don't be. But just be yourself. That is the point. Just know who you are. Just don't get influenced by every other person on social media, in your surroundings, or even in your family. Right? Analyze and introspect more and more.